Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And with the season now reportedly less than a month away from continuing in the Liga, in today's video we're going to be talking about those Barcelona players who need to make a point. They have to come out here in the games that we play in the remainder of this season and they've got to prove themselves. They've got to show something, because when football does indeed return, I think, to be honest, I could have picked many Barcelona players in this video, but what I have done here is narrow it down to 5 different players who have that point to prove. It may be due to inconsistent form they showed earlier on the season. Maybe it's somebody there who's got to win back their place and convince Setién, or perhaps players could even be playing for their futures. In particular, we're going to be talking about 5 in a lot of detail. Coming right up for you. Let's get to it. Because if we start first and foremost with number 1, Junior Firpo, because since arriving from Real Betis last summer in a deal which could eventually reach 30 million euros, Junior Firpo, I think it's fair to say, has enjoyed quite a testing debut campaign at Barcelona, and already it's prompted speculation that potentially this summer he could be on his way out of the club, with Barcelona looking to cash in on Firpo after just 1 season at the club. And in particular, this left-back role, it's something for me which continues to be a real problem for Barcelona, because think about previous years. We're trying to bring in here somebody who can challenge Jordi Alba, somebody in that left back role who can grow into that Barcelona shirt, and it hasn't happened. You think back there to Lucas Digne, we've had Marc Cucurella at the club, we've had Juan Miranda, who are all players who failed to survive there in the Barcelona first team, despite when you look at that list, there is talent there. But those players were never truly given an opportunity to shine at left back. And that, for me, is the worry now with Firpo, because actually, Alba this season has struggled with injuries, he's had a number of different problems, he's had relapses, and actually, Firpo has received game time. He has had opportunities to come into the team, play a run of games, and show what he's got, but we haven't been convinced. We haven't been sat there thinking, that's somebody there who we can rely on. He's appeared 12 times so far in La Liga this season, he's appeared 3 times in the Champions League, including the game recently against Napoli in the knockout stages, and also 2 times in the Copa del Rey, which, like I say, for the season that we played so far, those are not bad numbers there to actually give a decent account of yourself. And I just don't feel as though when you've seen Firpo in those games, has he stamped his authority? Has he convinced us there that he's a dependable player to have at left back? I'm not so sure, because he's not been terrible. This guy is not a disaster. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but when you come to Barcelona, it's about mentality. It's about having the nerve there, having the confidence in your game that you can come into a team and you can say, you know what, I was good at Betis, I showed so much quality, talent at Betis, I'm going to bring that through now and show it in a Barcelona shirt. But he hasn't quite done that. He's looked nervy. That's the one word I'd use to describe him in his performances: nervy. He looks as though he's not quite sure if he can perform at this level, because you look at it in particular away at Napoli in the round of 16 in the Champions League. That's a massive game, biggest game of our season so far. Firpo starts at left back there in the place of Jordi Alba, who's out with injury, and it's a mistake. Now, it's not a dreadful mistake, it's not the worst piece of play you've ever seen, it isn't anything terrible, but that one little error, it leads to a goal. Napoli go down the other end, they capitalise there on the slip by Firpo, we've conceded a massive goal, and that's the level. That's what at Barcelona you can't do. Can he now, under Setién, as the season goes on, show that he can play here? That's what Barcelona want to be seeing, but will he get opportunities to show that quality? Will Barcelona have faith in him beyond the summer? Are we going to say here, look, the guy is still just 23 years old, we paid quite a decent sum here to bring him in, and the fact we did that, maybe now we should have some courage, have some bravery to say, you know what, let's give him another season. Let's see how he progresses. But at the same time, you've got to be ruthless at the top level. Firpo, for me, in the games remaining this season, he has to show that he belongs here. And that's what I'm really looking for here in the final games of the season, because we need him. We need somebody there with Jordi Alba, now 31 years old. We need a future left back. We need somebody who can step into that role and play with authority. And is Junior Firpo the man for that occasion? We're going to find out. When it comes to defenders, we also undoubtedly have to talk about number 2, Samuel Umtiti. And this, for me, is a completely different type of situation. Because this here is somebody who has proven their quality. They clearly do have the mentality when they're on the field to succeed and be a Barcelona player. We've seen that since Umtiti arrived at the club. He is a top quality centre-back on his day. But I would actually say that Umtiti's current situation is far more worrying for Barcelona than Junior Firpo's, because Umtiti, the talent isn't the question, it's his physical state and actually how often he's able to show that talent. Because after suffering a knee injury there in 2018, which kept him sidelined for much longer than we originally expected, Umtiti then was left with a dilemma. Would he undergo surgery and miss there up to 4 months of action, or would he wait to recover naturally and hope the problem would heal itself? Now, at the time, the club wanted Umtiti to go through that surgery. It may have meant a bit more time out, but it would have at least brought resolution to the problem. But no, Umtiti avoided surgery, and as we know, it has definitely caused a problem for him. Because those physical problems have never really gone away. Maybe not even just physically either, but also now you're starting to talk about mentally. Is it in his head now that every time he goes out there to train, every time that he's in a game, is he thinking, is my body right? Am I here going to suffer another injury? Because we've spent the last 2 seasons now just wondering, when's that next injury coming? And it's really sad because, like I say, on his day, when he's fit, Umtiti is one of the world's best centre-backs. And every single game right now that Umtiti is in the team and he plays well, you can't even celebrate that. You can't even think that, yes, we've got a brilliant centre-back, because you just know not far around the corner he's going to get injured. And that is such a shame. Because the stats don't lie. When you look at it there, when you look at the record of Umtiti over the past few seasons, it's a problem that has simply not been sorted out. He joined the club in 2016. He had a stunning debut campaign there. You can see it, 24 out of 38 La Liga games that he appeared in. He repeated those exact numbers there in his second season, again appearing in 24 out of the 38 league games. But then it's fallen off a cliff. It really has. The last 2 seasons there, all that he's managed is 22 appearances in both of those seasons combined. So in the last 2 seasons, he's actually appeared less than he did in his single first seasons. And that's the problem right now for Umtiti. And of course, given the fact that he now finds himself on the sidelines again after injuring himself in training, things are not looking good. And it's so sad to see. We move on now to midfield, and Arthur Melo is our point of destination, the 23-year-old highly rated midfielder who's another player this summer who's been linked with an exit over the past few weeks, with Juventus very interested in acquiring his services this summer. Luckily for us though, Arthur Melo is not going anywhere. He is absolutely determined here to stay at Barcelona and prove that he belongs at this club. He's actually come out and said he has unfinished business at Barcelona, and that's exactly what he has. I think there he summarised that absolutely brilliantly, because since joining back in 2018, we've all seen the talent. You can just tell Arthur Melo, he's a player who should succeed at Barcelona. He's outstanding on the ball, he's elegant in his play, he's intelligent, he reads the game well, he's clearly got a good mental brain there to play in Barcelona's midfield, and of course he's shown there that he can dictate the game from midfield in the biggest of matches. Every characteristic is there for him to succeed. But as of right now, we haven't seen it. We have not seen, on a regular basis, Arthur Melo in the team for one reason or another. Because you look at it this season, 16 La Liga appearances there out of a possible 27, 4 Champions League appearances out of a possible 7. It's not enough. He's somebody there with the quality that he has. He should be in the team every single game unless he's injured. He should be a mainstay in that team, but he hasn't been. Because quite frankly, I think at times he's left out the team unnecessarily, but also it falls on his own shoulders too. He now has to be more professional, more driven. He has to realise that now he wants to stay at the club. Now the club have tried to force him out. He said no, he wants to remain here. Now you've got to go out and make sure you do everything in your power to convince everyone, the fans, the hierarchy, the players around you. He turns 24 years old this summer, and right now, this is his moment. Go out there, show your true self, give everything in training, be as professional as you possibly can, turn up on time, try and keep yourself fit, do the good things off the pitch as well, stay away from the parties, all the stuff like that, because Arthur Melo can be an absolute great at Barcelona. We all recognise that, but we need to see it now, on the pitch, on a consistent basis. Come on, Let's see what you've got. When we move into attack, there was a name, of course, that you knew was coming. It is Antoine Griezmann, a player that we have spoken about a great deal since his 120 million signing last summer, which even back then, that was huge, huge money. And now, given the current economic situation, that looks even bigger there, less than a year ago now. And that's the problem. Just like I've said before, I don't blame Griezmann for any of that. I don't blame him for the transfer fee. I don't blame him for the fact that he was brought in last summer. It's not his fault. The board thought he was a good idea. Because for me, his biggest problems at the club so far have all come about because the board decided to bring him in. We paid huge money again for a player once again, like Coutinho, like those before him. They had no plan. They had no plan at all about where Griezmann was going to fit, how he was going to play, how exactly it was all going to fit together with the rest of what we have in the squad. Griezmann so far has 8 La Liga goals in 26 appearances this season. He's got 2 goals in 7 Champions League games, which is okay. It's not bad. It's not a disastrous tally by any means. But for somebody there like Griezmann, the quality that we know he has, and a signing of that size, you would be hoping for more in terms of goals, and the output should definitely be more than that. But let me just be clear here, because Griezmann hasn't just become an average player overnight. That just doesn't happen. Griezmann hasn't suddenly now forgotten what he's supposed to be doing in front of goal. He still knows how to score goals. He still knows how to win games on his own, just like we saw him do at Atletico Madrid. But right now, in a Barcelona shirt, it hasn't quite happened for him. What has happened is that Griezmann has come in here to a brand new team, surrounded by brand new teammates who may or may not want him at the club. He's in a completely different system, and also, he hasn't even been played in a consistent position. We've seen him there out on the left, which clearly doesn't see him play to full potential. We've then seen Griezmann play as the outright number 9 in replacement of Luis Suarez, which also hasn't seemed to really work with Griezmann. And the question does remain, how exactly here do we get the best out of Griezmann? Because at Atletico, he was at the heart of everything. Going forward, they wouldn't dominate games, but when the ball did go up there to the final third, Griezmann was in amongst everything. You'd see him at times dropping in to receive the ball, you'd see him going left, you'd see him going right. Wherever the ball was, Antoine Griezmann wanted to be a part of it. He was always involved, and that's the problem for me. Because at Barcelona, he doesn't get involved. You hardly see him in some games, and that's all wrong. That is all wrong. That's not Griezmann. That's not the player there that we signed from Atletico, and I don't know there whether it's a confidence issue, maybe that he doesn't feel as though he actually has the ownership and the authority, much like Firpo, to say, you know what, I want the ball, I want to do something with it, give me the ball, I can use it, or maybe he feels as though he's playing there in the same sort of space as Lionel Messi. Can him and Messi function together? That would be my question. You add Suarez to the mix, does that help him or does it hinder him? These are the questions here that we have to find a way to answer with Antoine Griezmann, because we've got a wonderful player with brilliant characteristics. But as of right now, we haven't made it work. And that's such a shame. And last but not least is another forward, and it is that man, Luis Suarez. Because despite everything that this man has achieved at Barcelona, and believe me, he has achieved some absolutely incredible things, I think Suarez actually has a big point to prove when football returns on 2 different fronts. Number 1, it's all about the short term. Number 2, it's actually there about his long-term future at the club. Because right now, when you're looking at forwards for the future, Suarez is 33 years old. And come this summer, he'll actually be set to enter there his final year of his contract at Barcelona, with no sign right now of a new one appearing on the table, although Suarez does say that next season, if he plays 60% of the games, it'll automatically trigger an extension, which in itself, that's motivation there. That is perfect motivation for Suarez now to be doing everything possible to stay in that team, and I hope he'll now be under a coach who's going to push him, who's going to get that absolute maximum level out of him, which we simply didn't see under Ernesto Valverde. Under Valverde, Suarez was never pushed. Suarez knew that if he was fit, or even half fit most of the time, he would still be in that team and he would never get taken off. Under Setién, I think that will certainly change. Because quite honestly, a fully fit, a fully firing, a fully motivated Luis Suarez, even if he is 33, he's still a massive boost to this team. And you just look at his record. Even this season, 11 goals and 7 assists there in 17 La Liga games. Very good numbers. Last season was exactly the same. 21 goals and 6 assists in 33 La Liga games. And you go back as long as you want to. In a Barcelona shirt, Suarez scores goals. And now we get to see him under Setién. Even before this break, I was excited there and counting down the days to see Suarez under Setién, because I'm just fascinated, not only in terms of the mentality side, how he's going to get the best out of him, but also there, looking at our team. Because under Setién, the one problem we've had in the whole system is that final step, that final moment there between creating chances and ultimately putting the ball in the back of the net. We've got possession, we've got control, we've got patience now back in our play, we've got the domination, and that's all great. That's exactly what we wanted Setién to bring, but now we need that final movement, that final touch, that final finish that has still been lacking in our game, and that for me, it's where Suarez comes in. Because Griezmann, in that number 9 role, he has found it tough, he has found it difficult in front of goal when playing there as that sole number 9. Suarez is somebody who's more familiar in that role. And I think when we talk about Griezmann there, not really establishing yet a combination with Messi, that's somewhere, no matter what age he is, Suarez is always going to have that link-up play with Lionel Messi. And even though right now Suarez at 33 may not be the complete forward that he once was, in terms of his touch, in terms there of his pace, his movement, all of that stuff, he still has the footballing brain. He still has that deadly instinct in front of goal. And I think under Setién here, he'll be pushed. He'll be under more pressure with his contract expiring. He needs to perform. He will need to deliver to stay in this team. And I'm so excited there at the Luis Suarez we may well get to see. So that there, guys, is my thoughts on the 5 players in particular at Barcelona right now that when football does return, they will be out there undoubtedly with a point to prove. But of course, like I say, there are many other players that I also could have mentioned. Look at Ousmane Dembele there. When he comes back from injury, he's somebody, of course, who will definitely have a point to prove when he comes back. You look at somebody like Ivan Rakitic, who again may be playing for his future. You could say exactly the same there about Nelson Semedo. There's so many different cases of players in this Barcelona team who need to do more, who need to give more, and we'll be seeing when football does return in June, we hope, Setién getting it all right, getting it all worked out, and hopefully we'll be all the better for it. So please, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you make there of my 5 picks? What did you make of my explanations? Is there anything that you'd add to that? And is there anybody else in the Barcelona team who you would like to highlight? Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks as always, guys, for watching. I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.